Mold. Let's talk about it. Mold is something that a lot of people talk about and don't really have any clue about. Mold is something that absolutely can be a health concern, but at the same time, there are cases where there can be mold in a home that it doesn't cause people any issues. There's really no scientific data or consensus as to what level of mold is quote-unquote acceptable, the way that there are with other concerns. But because of that, the industry has basically evolved to call out any visible mold as unacceptable, which I agree with in lack of better evidence. This is mold. It may not look like much, but this little brown growth in a crawl space, sometimes it has a black appearance. This is a mold. But mold can appear as different colors and different appearances. It can be black, it can be brown, it can be white, it can be almost any color under the sun. Now, what causes mold? Well, in this instance, we're in a crawl space, and crawl spaces are notorious for getting mold. In fact, almost every crawl space has some mold in it, despite the fact that people may not want to hear that. In the summertime, almost every crawl space will get some water puddles, and this particular instance is not caused by water coming in from the outside. It's caused by the ducts, the air ducts, bringing the cold air through the home. Notice how that's wet. It's condensation. It's the same stuff that you get on the outside of a glass of sweet tea in the middle of summer, but it is going to happen in 99.99% of crawl spaces if they are not properly dehumidified. As the ducks sweat, they drop that water, they raise the humidity in the area, and both the liquid water and the humidity cause the mold growth. They cause it at the joists, at wood members, and they also cause it at non-wood members. This is the duct itself that has mold on it. You'll hear some asinine person say, mold cannot grow on plastic, or mold cannot grow on this. Mold technically can only grow on something that it can eat, like wood, or cardboard, or paper, cellulose. But in reality, mold can grow anywhere, because anywhere there is dust, dirt, paint, or really any type of organic film, mold can grow. I've seen mold growing on concrete, I've seen it growing on brick, I see it daily growing on air ducts because of condensation. So what is the solution to this, and is it that big a deal? Well, some people will say insulation, but that won't do anything. These ducts are already insulated. The crawl space is already insulated. The truth is you have to control the humidity, because this is only happening because of humidity. Humidity is caused by this ground. Water vapor comes up into the crawl space from the ground, also comes in through the vents. Yes, the vents that are supposed to be helping to dry it out actually introduce humidity into a crawl space. Building science has proven, and the industry, the mold industry anyways, has already adopted this as a standard, but encapsulation. Encapsulation is when you seal your vents and you put a vapor barrier, a thick one, down on the entire crawl space floor. And unlike a traditional crawl space like this, where you have gaps and it doesn't go up the wall, in an encapsulated crawl space, the vapor barrier goes all the way up the wall, covers the vents. They typically insulate the exterior walls rather than the joists as well. And then a dehumidifier is installed. When encapsulation is done properly, building science has proven that it works best to prevent and reduce mold growth. And as someone who's been in several encapsulated crawl spaces, they feel much better. The air feels clean, tastes better. I'd be very comfortable crawling down there without a suit. I would eat down in an encapsulated crawl space. But I'm wearing a mask in a vented crawl space because you're essentially crawling through outside dirt just in an enclosed area. Now the second question, how bad of an issue is this? Well, that's where we don't really have enough data. It's known that this mold in the crawl space, the air will work its way into the home. And it is known that this can cause issues for people. But there are some people who live their entire life in a home like this and never have any issues. And building science does not really have enough data to know why certain people are more or less affected by mold. And as I stated earlier, there's no acceptable limits to the amount of mold in a building or exposure to mold for humans. At the end of the day, we can only do what we can do. We always call out visible mold, recommend it be corrected, but most importantly, the conditions causing the mold need to be corrected, or else it'll just come right back.